Hi, welcome back to IB TCH Reacts. IBTCH, and today I am going to settle down by watching a video, and I would love for you to join me. I'm not shadowing back. I don't know what that is, but we're just gonna act like it. We're just gonna keep it moving. I don't know what that is. It's not what it looks like. At least I don't think it is. Um, but how this works is I like to simmer down, take my mind off some things, and how I do that is I might watch something. And in doing that, I really don't wanna I really don't wanna do it on my own, like, just sit here and watch things on my own. So, um, I simply press record and I watch them with you. So that is pretty much what I'm doing right now. I saw this young lady here.
If anybody want to become a medical assistant, I think the step for it will be.
See, I'm still working out the kinks with this. I'm still learning things, and that wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. So here we are. Um, but I was intrigued by the title, and so I'm gonna watch one more episode, and this is it. And I'm just sharing it um, as a reaction. Okay.
The great way to go.
Stepful really did push me to get my certificate.
In October of 2025, I was a part of the mass.
Okay, so she was with Amazon. Laid off from Amazon as a software engineer. What?
Layoffs from Amazon. On a random Tuesday, I woke up to a text telling me to check my email, and when I checked, I saw that myself, along with all of my team, had been laid off overnight. The whole thing came out of nowhere, and honestly, I was not expecting it. And the day before, I actually remember there was an article that was circling around, I think it was some Reuters report or something, saying that Amazon was rumored to be doing some layoffs, but there was nothing indicating that it was going to be my team in specific. So when I woke up that day, I was honestly just kind of shocked, and I really did not anticipate it. So Amazon was my first job outside of college, and coming from a single parent household, it honestly really meant a lot to me as a first job. I always
There's a single parent household. I don't know why people feel it is necessary to share that. I really don't.
envisioned education as my pathway to building a stable financial future. So I went to Duke. I started my freshman year actually studying public policy, but in my sophomore year, I took a computer science class and I just ended up loving it. So from there, I switched my entire college plan. I started to TA for the computer science class, which means I was a teaching assistant for the introduction level class. And I kind of put like all of my eggs in one basket just really making it my goal that I could become a software engineer. So my summer of junior year, I applied for an internship at Amazon and I got the offer. So I went from Durham all the way to Seattle to spend my summer as an intern on the Amazon team. At the end of my internship, everything went well, thankfully, and I got a return offer to work there full-time after graduation. So fast forward to graduation, I moved from Durham to Atlanta to start my job at Amazon. And when I started my job at Amazon in Atlanta, it was one of the most challenging things I've ever done. Every single day, I struggled so much with imposter syndrome because I just felt like I did not deserve the opportunity that I had. As I said, coming from a low-income family, like, it was a shock to me to graduate college and be making more than my parents had. So I felt like I was in a position where I was just like way above my head. So every day I was so nervous to go into the office because I genuinely thought that my manager was gonna come to my desk and be like, yeah, you gotta pack it up and go. Like, we found out that you actually don't know what you're doing and you've gotta go home. And ironically, that's funny that that's kind of what ended up happening anyways, but in my first year at Amazon, it was...
Hello. It starts in the mind. It starts in the mind, in your thoughts.
It was truly a challenging time for me mentally in terms of just my confidence, in terms of myself.
It's getting dark. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, 30%. Okay. Let's try to get through this before my device shuts off.
Self-talk and everything related to that. So after my first year, I finally started to feel more confident in my role, and I actually ended up transferring from Amazon in Atlanta to Amazon in Virginia. So once I got to Virginia, my team dynamic was a lot better, so I really felt like I was starting to grow a lot in terms of my confidence and my engineering skills. And over that second year, I really started to feel myself just hitting my stride in my career. I was taking on bigger projects, I was leading designs, I was mentoring our intern during the summer, and things were really just going great. So when I got laid off, I was not expecting it at all. I had just led an entire organization-wide hackathon to specifically support the use of AI across our teams, and I was working on my promotion document, and so I felt like I got caught flat-footed, and it was really destabilizing for me because I felt like I had finally overcome all of those issues with my imposter syndrome, and I felt like I was just about to make the next leap in my career. So the actual day that I got the notification of my layoff was a really...
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation.
Weird day. I got a text at like 3 o'clock in the morning that was like, check your work email about the status of your job. And so when I woke up, I opened my email and lo and behold, it was a message, and it was like, unfortunately, your role has been terminated, and you know, you're free to find a new role within the company, but if you don't within this amount of time, then unfortunately, we're gonna have to let you go. So to me, in that moment, it really felt like the chapter had been abruptly closed for me, and I didn't even have the chance to really get any closure and reflect on how much Amazon really meant to me as my first role out of college. To me, like I said, getting my job at Amazon was not just like a nice high-paying job, but it was the symbol of stability for me that I had really held as my kind of North Star throughout my entire college career and early 20s. To me, it felt like I could actually trust myself to figure out how to create a secure financial future for myself. And beyond that financial stability, it also gave me a sense of confidence in my identity as a female engineer, especially as a Black female engineer, because when I would tell people that I worked at Amazon, of course it's a FAANG company, they're automatically gonna assume things about you, like you're smart and you make a lot of money and you probably went to a good school. And I didn't realize how much that really affected how I viewed myself and how I viewed myself as being worthy enough to be an engineer. So the first few months of being laid off were really a hard time because I had to address all of those emotions that I was feeling about.
Sounds like she's not still unemployed. That's what it sounds like. But let's continue. And if she's not still unemployed, good for her. Good for her.
This chapter being closed and what that symbolized for me. Every day I was applying to jobs and getting automated rejections and scrolling on LinkedIn and seeing all of these posts about people applying to hundreds of jobs and being laid off for 10 months, 12 months, and it was so hard for me mentally to stay positive during that time. There was one company that I really wanted to work at, and I made it all the way to their final rounds of interviews, and then I got a rejection in the final round. And so it was a lot of things like that that really just kept kind of hitting my self-confidence. And it's one thing to feel like your negative thoughts are in your head, but when you have that continual reinforcement of like, sorry, you didn't make it, or sorry, the position's closed, or sorry, we felt like you weren't qualified, like those things really make it hard to stand firm in your confidence. I started to realize that maybe I actually hadn't done all of the work of overcoming that imposter syndrome, and that I was actually just using Amazon as a cover-up for that. So yeah, it was beginning to be a bit of a depressing time, and it also was really hard for me to receive support from other people around me because I felt like they just didn't understand the job market and what I was really going through. And despite all of this being a really challenging time mentally, I really had to come to a point where I had to sit with myself and realize that if I still wanted to be happy in this moment of uncertainty, I was gonna have to make that choice for myself. I couldn't wait on things to change externally around me. I had to wake up every single day and decide consciously that I was gonna find joy in that day. And there's this principle called sitting with discomfort that basically teaches you to learn how to embrace the negative experiences in life without having to run away from them. And for me, that's what I really had to learn to do, because I had to make space for two things to be true at once. I had to allow myself to be in this uncertain time of being unemployed, and I also had to let there be space for me to continue being joyful in my life. So after I had that realization, I kept applying for jobs and everything, but I kind of let go of the grip that I had on trying to control what was going to happen. For a long time, I was using worrying as a way to feel like I was in control of the situation. But ultimately, I was just making myself suffer so much mentally because I was constantly thinking negatively about all of my circumstances. And then I realized that that was not doing me any service at all. So I kept applying, but I approached it with a different mindset, more like whatever happens, happens, and trusting that if I kept trying my best, something was gonna work out eventually. So by approaching it that way, I gave myself more space mentally to actually enjoy the other aspects of my life. I started exploring my hobby for creating content, and I make most of my videos on TikTok, and I have not gone viral really in any capacity, but I have been able to share my story with others, and I have had people reach out to me and tell me how much that I have inspired them through their own unemployment journeys. That has been something that has brought me so much fulfillment during this time, because I've seen that I can make something positive out of this experience. And another thing I was able to do was start traveling. So I traveled home to visit my family and my grandparents. I visited my friends, and I actually just got back from 2 weeks in Thailand. That was a really incredible experience. It came at the perfect time, and ironically, I actually got an offer at a company when I was on my trip in Thailand. So now I'm 4 months post layoff and about to start my new job, and I just wanted to share this story because being laid off taught me so many things. First, it taught me that you cannot tie your identity to something outside of you, whether that be your job title or something else. Your self-worth and your self-confidence has to come from within you, because that's the one thing that nobody can ever take away from you. And secondly, being laid off taught me how to be more adaptable to things that are going to happen in life. Life is going to throw you curveballs pretty much all the time, and you really have to learn how to be able to face those things and also hold space for the joy that should be in life. I really learned how important it is to be able to face bad things with some sense of patience and joy and gratitude. So for anyone else who is on their unemployment journey, layoff journey, job searching journey, just know that you are not alone. And I know that when I was looking for a job, I could not believe anyone who said it's gonna work out in the end, but I'm here to tell you it is going to work out in the end. Remember that you are capable, you are more than your job title, and there are so many opportunities out there that you can never even dream of that are waiting for you. So thank you for watching this video. This is my first video, and I hope that I could have helped even one person by sharing this.
Okay. So let me take this back down. Stop sharing. And I'm going to give my opinion before my device decides to shut me off. Okay. Um, the video was encouraging. Um, it was also long. Um, I won't say cookie cutter, but I can see um like certain things that she mentioned, like the imposter syndrome and um sitting with discomfort and um the single coming from a single family background, single mother home, that's old. It gets old after a while, after you hear so many people speaking on it. But what I will say is kudos to her. I also want to say um that I can appreciate her pointing out her thought process through it all. I can appreciate her pointing out her negative self-talk to herself and how it came into fruition. I can also appreciate the fact that she was able to turn it around and still push through it all, thought, because you're your biggest critic. And so, um, no, for real, you're your biggest critic. And so I can appreciate the fact that she was able to overcome that as well. Not to say that she's not still having negative thoughts, but she got through that. negative self-talk as far as the job situation went. Um, I also like how she kind of not rebranded herself, but she highlighted all of the skills and experiences that she was able to accumulate at Amazon. That was good. That was good stuff. Um, and I'm just happy for her. I'm happy for her. Um, I don't know if I would return to her channel. I might skim it. If it's gonna be like that, if she's gonna be just sitting there and talking, I don't know if that's something that I can return to unless it's like a decent topic. But I am who I am, and you are who you are. You might want to return to her channel. That is up to you. Don't let me stop you. Um, but yeah, um, again, this is what I do. If I see a thumbnail, I see a title that intrigues me, then I'll stop in and see what it's about. Um, and that's what I did, and I'm glad that I did, and moving right along. So, with that being said, thank you for watching. If you, what am I trying to say? If this is your type of just say if this is something that you enjoyed watching. What is that? Pause. What is that? Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm back. So real quick, again, um, I really appreciate you for watching. I hope you will come back to share another video with me in the very near future. Um, and yeah, I'll be TCH Reacts, and I will see you next time.